Somerville, Fulkrug, Kudus, Paquetá. The West Ham team is stacked with talent. The squad under Moyes did well, winning the Conference League in 2023, but their form in the league was inconsistent. One year, they would be in a spot for European football. The next season, fighting relegation. Moyes had reached his ceiling with the team, and the Hammers were playing a brand of football that was well below the talent that was in the squad. But now, this talented crop of players have an equally talented coach in Julian Lopetegui, with a manager who has won a European Cup and has international experience, along with players that are wanted by all the best clubs in the world. West Ham fans should be buzzing with excitement. There's nothing stopping them from getting European football while playing an attractive brand of football. Lopetegui immediately began fixing the holes in the squad. The first step was signing Championship Player of the Year Somerville to bolster their left wing spot. The 22-year-old was signed from Leeds in a fee in excess of £25 million plus add-ons. He's coming off a fantastic season, getting 21 goals and 10 assists in all competitions, as Leeds just missed out on promotion after a defeat in the playoff final. The season before, he had 4 goals and 2 assists in the Premier League, which is honestly still impressive given how much Leeds struggled that season. Somerville is a silky, skillful dribbler. It was clear that he was too good for the championship level, and now on a team with better players around him, you're gonna see him shine even more. He can score, is creative, good decision making in the final third. You really can't ask for more from a winger. Some wingers are quick, but can't dribble. Others can beat their men really easily, but can't score. That's not an issue with Somerville. He can do a little bit of everything. Him, Kudus, and Bowen is a lethal attack, especially with the likes of Paquetá, Alvarez, or James Ward-Prowse right behind them. There's going to be situations where Somerville and Kudus are going to attract like 4 defenders onto them in a passage of play, leaving someone open. The Hammers couldn't have picked a better player to be their starting left wing. As scary as the trio of Somerville, Kudus, and Bowen can be, they need a striker in front of them who can finish the chances that they create. Well, West Ham improved that area too by signing Fulkrug. The German scored 16 goals and provided 10 assists for Dortmund in the 2024 season after making the move from Werder Bremen the summer before. 3 goals and 2 assists in the Champions League as Dortmund made it all the way to the final before losing to Real Madrid. He scored the only goal in the 1-0 victory Dortmund got over PSG in the first leg of the Champions League semi-finals. Fulkrug ended the season as Dortmund's second highest league scorer with 12. At Bremen, he got 49 goals and 16 assists in 124 matches. The German also looked great in the Euros, coming on as a sub. He came on as a sub in the 63rd minute against Scotland, then scored 5 minutes later as the Germans won 5-1 in the opening match. Then he scored a stoppage time equalizer against Switzerland, securing Germany onto the knockout phase at the top of the group. He is 6'2" and an absolute menace in the air. He's also got a rocket of a strike and is actually quite underrated as a playmaker. Double digits in assists is impressive for any striker. When I watched him at the Euros, I thought he was your classic out-and-out number 9, just somebody who specializes in heading the ball and being good in the air. But from watching his clips from his Dortmund days and even from Werder Bremen days, he's actually quite good with his feet, being able to get out of tight spaces, but more importantly, holding the ball up and laying the ball off to the oncoming midfielders. Antonio wasn't bad, but Fulkrug is definitely an upgrade. Also, this means that if one of them gets injured, they don't have to play Jared Bowen as a makeshift center forward. I know it worked last season, but Bowen's better on the wing. It's good to have depth in the striker position. The great thing for Fulkrug is there are so many creators behind him. Emerson can whip in crosses to him the same way Maatsen would at Dortmund. You got James Ward-Prowse, Bowen, Somerville, Kudus, Paquetá. Like, there are so many players that can create that all Fulkrug has to do is focus on scoring. But it works in the other way as well. Fulkrug will be able to create situations where he can lay the ball off at the top of the box for the oncoming midfielders to bang in long shots. It's a very exciting time to be a West Ham fan. The great thing is that all this talent is now being managed by a top manager in Lopetegui. In the 2023 season, Lopetegui took over Wolves when they were at the bottom of the table and helped them finish in 13th place, only leaving the club because he wasn't backed financially. In his first year at Sevilla, he helped them get Champions League football, and on the 21st of August that year, Sevilla beat Inter Milan 3-2 to win the 2020 Europa League. Under Moyes, West Ham won the Conference League and had some good seasons. They got 6th in the 2021 season and 7th the season after. But in the last 2 seasons, it seemed that Moyes' time was up. Even when they would get results, the football was very negative. A lot of hoofball, a lot of reliance on set pieces. The quality of football just didn't match the talent that Moyes had under him. But Lopetegui is different. He is described as a possession-first tactician who prefers to use a 4-3-3. Typically, this trio consists of a defensive midfielder, a playmaker, and a shuttler, each with their own roles within the system. The defensive midfielder is vital in Lopetegui's system. In the build-up, he comes in between the center backs, providing another passing option that also allows the wing backs to go forward. Good thing for the Spaniard, he's spoiled with choice. He can either use Edson Alvarez or James Ward-Prowse. Alvarez probably makes the most sense. He's much better defensively while still being good on the ball. But I think it also all depends on what happens with Paquetá. If he gets banned, then I can see him using a midfield trio of Alvarez, James Ward-Prowse, and Kudus, with Kudus as the playmaker, Alvarez as that main sole pivot, and then James Ward-Prowse as the shuttler. If everyone is available to him, then I can see Alvarez as the 6, Paquetá as the shuttler, and then Kudus as the playmaker. That trio would be a deadly midfield. I mean, we're talking about Champions League caliber quality there. Lopetegui's Sevilla sides were famous for crossing. In 2020, his side played the most crosses in La Liga with 23.2 attempts per 90. Given the quality of Emerson and Kufal, in combination with how good Füllkrug is in the air, we could see West Ham continuing that sort of style as a plan B in case they cannot break a team down in possession. Under Moyes, West Ham had a lot of defensive issues. They used to concede for fun. Under Lopetegui, that will change. His sides are traditionally known for being very difficult to break down. Just look at his Sevilla teams, who had the 3rd best defense in La Liga in both the 2020 and 2022 season. In the 2021 season, they were the best defensive team in the league. His team can set up in a 4-2-3-1 while defending, but when they're pressing, it changes into your traditional 4-4-2. If you want to see the press in action, just watch Wolves beat Liverpool 3-0 in February of 2023, where Lopetegui's side kept a Klopp side to just 2 shots on target. The Spaniard is still gathering players to help bolster the defense. The Hammers have already signed Wolves captain Max Kilman and are in talks of signing Wan-Bissaka from Manchester United. On top of defenders, the Hammers also picked up 18-year-old midfielder Luis Guilherme from Palmeiras. The Guardian listed the Brazilian as one of the best players born in 2006. And considering the talent that has come out of Palmeiras recently, there's reason to be excited. I watched some videos on him, but when a player is this young, it's really hard to determine what his ceiling is. His speed did catch my eye. He just runs past players like they're not even there. Also, he gets fouled so much. Imagine giving Ward-Prowse that many opportunities for free kicks in a match. While the new faces will definitely help the club tremendously, there's already a lot of talent existing at the club. Paquetá is a starter on the Brazilian national team. He is so good that City were desperate to sign him before the gambling scandal. Strong, tall, but skillful with flair. The Brazilian would walk into most clubs' midfield. If more teams watched West Ham, they would see how good this guy is. Assuming he doesn't get banned, I'm curious to see where Lopetegui plays him, because Paquetá can play either as a 10 or as an 8. I think the fact that West Ham have gone even more attacking players after Paquetá's arrival, it means that he would be much better suited as a box-to-box player. Him playing next to Edson Alvarez would be crazy. Both of them are strong, good in the air, and there's a combination of skill and tenacity in that midfield. Mohamed Kudus is one of the most exciting players in the world of football right now. Any player that can score a goal like the one he scored against Freiburg in the Europa League is a special player. 18 goals and 7 assists in all competitions in his debut season, the Ghanaian is a top quality player. Just like Paquetá, this is a type of player that every club in the world wants. Quick, strong, skillful, with a rocket of a shot. He finished the 2024 season as the player with the most successful dribbles in the Premier League with 124. He also has a great work rate, constantly at the top of the charts when it comes to ball recoveries. Kudus is another versatile player. That's why I'm curious where Lopetegui will use him. He can play as a right winger cutting in on his left like he's done before, or we can see him more centrally as a number 10, which I think he would be lethal in. Having all that space and the ability to go either on the left or the right, I think he would crush it. Another reason I would love to see Kudus down the middle is because Jared Bowen is already about as good as you can get from a right midfielder. Bowen had 20 goals and 10 assists in all competitions in the 2024 season. He did play a ton of games as center forward because Antonio was injured, but I felt like he was at his best at right mid. 16 goals in the Premier League, this guy's easily the most underrated player. He got the Hammer of the Year award, but I feel like outside of the West Ham fan base, this guy isn't spoken about at all, despite having been one of the best players in the league. He's fast, he's strong, he can whip in a good cross, he can score when he has to. This guy's the most well-rounded right midfielder I've seen, and I feel like nobody ever talks about him. West Ham's project is one of the most exciting ones in the Premier League. Despite finishing 9th in the 2024 season, this team has the quality to get Champions League football. It will be difficult, especially since there are other top teams like Aston Villa in their way. To see the danger that the Claret and Blue pose for the Hammers, you have to check out this video right here.